Okay, so what to do about Boise's homeless isn't a new question facing the City of Trees, obviously. In fact, how Ada County cared for its homeless goes back about 140 years. A historical segment of society we first told you about 2 summers ago.
There wasn't enough soap in all of Ada County to cleanse the stench and the horrors of this poor farm. And that's what the state inspectors found when they stumbled upon it in 1915.
A poor farm. It seems before Idaho was even a state, it had a contract to care for its indigent people.
That contract was passed in 1881 by the territorial legislature that is, and it specified the indigent and the insane should be kept and cared for in an asylum in their respective county. So Ada County decided to do something like that by buying 160 acres in what is now known as the Collister neighborhood. And for decades, according to Boise State Professor Emeritus Dr. Todd Shallett, who you just heard from, Boise's poor farm was a model for social progress. The inmates, as they were called, would work the land and grow hay, a temporary place for poor people to stay. But by 1915, as you heard, it had evolved into despair when state inspectors found it uninhabitable and they shut it down. 7 years later, in 1922, Boise passed an ordinance banning people from sleeping in public places. And that rule remained in the city code as it was originally written until last year, because in 2009, the city was sued for such citations and convictions. Martin versus the City of Boise claimed the ordinance violated the cruel and unusual punishment clause of the 8th Amendment. The case went on for nearly a decade, the middle of which, I should say, was the 2015 Cooper Court fiasco, where a tent city was set up outside Interfaith Sanctuary, which helped bring attention to Boise's growing homeless problem. Then in 2018, the Ninth Circuit ruled against the city in Martin v. Boise. As part of the outcome, the city could no longer cite people for sleeping in public places if there was no place else for them to go, a practice the city was following since 2014. The settlement also included $1.8 million, $1.3 million of which was to be used to create new overnight shelters or revamp existing shelters, according to the city. So what happened with that money? Well, it was to be split between shelter expansion and supportive housing. The breakdown looks like this: $440,550 for emergency shelter expansion, which the city says Interfaith Sanctuary applied for and got, to increase the services the shelter provides, but not expansion because, well, there's no room to do that in their current location, thus the need to move. The supportive housing part, nearly $900,000, like the Our Path Home program, the public-private partnership of more than 30 agencies working to end homelessness in Ada County. They built places under the Housing First model, like the New Path Community Housing for families and Valor Point for veterans. That $900,000 or nearly $900,000 still waiting to be spent, the city tells us. The Our Path Home just finished developing a supportive housing plan, and they are planning on using federal dollars first, money that comes from grants and the American Rescue Plan. And so now here we are with the city's only non-denominational overnight shelter looking for a place to expand to keep up with the city's expanding population of those experiencing homelessness. How and when they plan to do that or going to do that, still undecided.